in order to add a new dialysis patient that you want on a recurrent schedule, you'll start off with going to the home screen and then clicking the new dispatch. Add your call taker at the top and then add your facility that you'll be transporting from. If you do have a room number, go ahead and add that there. And then add your destination dialysis facility. Make sure you select the right one. Add the reason for choosing destination. We're going to choose patient choice on this one. And then if you don't have the patient in the system, you'll put a last name, date of birth, first name. If you do have them in the system, then you can type in a name and compare the date of birth and everything to match it up. You'll select the requested level of care. We're going to make this a BLS transport, and then we'll set this as a transfer palliative care. This is not going to be an emergent. We'll set it up as a scheduled transport. You can also set this in your default settings. We're not going to touch any of the billing here, but if you do have anything, you can add that in there if you know it. Now this is where you will start building the schedule. So we can click to add this, let's say starting April 19th. And we'll say that the patient is going to be picked up at 9 o'clock. So we're going to make this an 8 o'clock activation. And then we'll set this at 9 o'clock. You can also add, a chair time. And we're going to make this a round trip. If you make this a wait and return, this will leave that call on the truck and then it will automatically populate the return trip. We're going to do it as a round trip because not necessarily the same truck will be returning them. This will be your B trip. So we're going to leave it for the same date. And we're going to say that this patient comes off at 12 o'clock. We'll say 12:30. And we'll let it be 11:45 for the activation time. The activation time is what time it will pop up on the crew's tablet to let them know they need to go run this call. There's a little timeline to just give you an idea of when the A trip and B trip will be. This is your recurrence. This is where you will dial in exactly how you want this call to be populated every week. You can set it up on a daily basis. If you want this call to populate, every weekday or every one day, we're going to set this up as a dialysis patient every week, and we're going to click Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Or you can click TTS if the patient goes in there. If you do have a date range, you can select that. We're going to mark this as forever, and then once this patient is not being transported anymore, then we'll stop that and end the call. You can add any additional warnings for this call to let people know what's going on with the patient if they require oxygen or bariatric. You can also put door codes for the facility. And then if there's any billing notes that you want to add, this is only going to be viewable by the billers. So if there's anything else that needs to be added to this, this is where you'll add it. And you can put in the time to phone ring. You don't need to click assign to the ship because you're going to assign that later. So we're going to save that transport. And if we want to send this call to a crew, we can come to the schedule and then we can assign it right there. And then we will unselect these so that we can see all the trucks we have. We have M1, and we could click later. That means it will activate on the time we have set up. If we click now, then it will automatically activate at this exact moment.